discussion. For those joining us for the first time, GPUVerse Live Dialogues is an initiative. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Because I was trying to figure out when she wrote the second time, I'm like, okay, let me start.
That's the 30-second now.
Welcome, everyone. Car Growth and Partnerships Lead at The Block and Femtosec. We are here at GPUVerse Live Dialogues, episode 7. I'm thrilled to be your host and moderator for today's discussion. For those joining us at the first time, GPUVerse is Live Dialogues is an initiative by GPU.net, the decentralized compute layer powering the next era of AI, Web3, and DeepIn. So from Bangalore to Dubai to Abu Dhabi, GPUVerse has been hosting high signal in-person meetings and also meetups, uniting builders, founders, investors who are shaping the decentralized future of compute. With GPUVerse Live Dialogues, we're talking that same energy global, and we're taking it all the way here with us online, bringing together thought leaders in AI, Web3, and infrastructure innovation. Today's theme, AI innovation, Web3 infrastructure, and GPUs. And our topic mainly is going to be basically intelligent systems on the blockchain, scaling AI through decentralized compute. We'll be exploring how AI agents, blockchain, and GPUs are converging to create the next generation of intelligent and decentralized systems. Now, let's get through and go deep in straight to our panelists over here. Our powerhouse lineup of speakers today include Jimmy Ibrahim. Welcome, Jimmy. A friend as well, co-founder and CEO for IOPN, and he's speaking to us from Dubai, UAE. Vanda, welcome as well. He is the CEO LinkUp, and he is joining us from Belgium. Gaurav, welcome as well. He is joining us from India, and we have Danush, who is joining us as well from Dubai. And that said, each of these leaders is building at the intersection of AI, Web3 infrastructure, and decentralized compute. We're going to unpack what this convergence means for the future of technology. Let's dive right in. So, I would, let's say I'll start with a question where AI and Web3 are intersecting. How do you see the AI agents evolving within the decentralized ecosystems, and what real utility are they bringing into the Web3 world? Who would like to start and who would like to take the lead for this one? Also, actually, just before the questions, I do apologize. Let's put this. Bandit, can you give me like a small 1-minute brief about you, Jimmy as well? That'll be wonderful.
Definitely. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm very glad to be part of this amazing panel. So yes, I'm based in Brussels, Belgium. So I have a background in finance, but I've worked in many years areas. So I have been also working in the blockchain for several years. And our company specializes in security, system integration, traceability from minerals and other goods. And yes, I have been working also in Dubai for some years. So yeah.
Great to hear that. Thank you, Vandad. Jimmy, can you tell us about yourself?
Hello, pleasure to be here. Happy to share the stage with these rockstar panelists. I'm Jimmy Ibrahim, co-founder and COO of IOPN. My background is real estate development and gaming. Through that journey, I got exposed to blockchain early in 2015, 2016. I started mining, overclocked my PC, went down that path, and got involved with the industry a bit deeper. Became a builder in 2022, launched my first startup here in Dubai, and been here ever since, living, breathing the blockchain. And as of recent, within our new startup, that's been live for almost a year and a half now. We're really diving deep into building both physical and digital infrastructures that support sovereign AI and sovereign blockchain systems.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jimmy, for the intro, and we're going to dive deeper as well in what you're doing. Gaurav, please let us know as well, what are you working on? What are your exciting episodes? And you're joining us as well, so please let us know.
Thanks, Aswid,
All the
and
way
thank
from
you,
Pune.
GPU.net. Yeah, thanks, Aswid. Thank you, GPU.net, for having me here, and really great lineup of panelists. I'm Gaurav Tripathi, co-founder and CTO at Partex AI. Ancient history about me: I studied aerospace engineering at IIT Bombay and have been in startups since 2005. Started this current company way back in 2011, and now I can boast that we have been one of the first companies to really look at data as an asset. And we got our first set of DGXs way back in 2018, just when they were launched. Since then, in 2017 onwards, we have been NVIDIA partners, one of the very early partners in life sciences AI. What we do is we work with big pharma, top 30 pharma companies globally, helping them on drug discovery and development, essentially telling them if the drug asset will work or not, and helping them out license and license the drug assets. We have been fortunate enough to be there at the right time for all the waves, I'll say, whether it is AI or even blockchain. Started working on blockchain way back very early on, again, around the same time, 16, 17. Have been able to, again, combine blockchain, AI into healthcare and life sciences in a very interesting data and AI play that I'll speak about probably. And happy to be here. We are headquartered in Frankfurt, and our engineering data, everything sits here in Pune. We have a lab in Regensburg in Germany, and then we have presence in US and Dallas and New Jersey as well. Thank you.
Wonderful. Glad to hear. Thank you, Gaurav. And I think the fact that you said you're fortunate to be riding the right waves, that's actually science. I mean, one time, two time happens, but after that, it's just about, getting it to the right waves. Danosh, very happy for you to be here and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Asbeth. It's a pleasure to be here with all these distinguished speakers, and some new faces, some old faces, and some guys I haven't met. We're talking about the convergence of Web3 and AI. So what we do at the block, we're heavily focused on currently tokenization of real-world assets. That's been our main focus, and it's been strategic. We believe that not only is Web3 and AI converging, but also there's a convergence between the Web2 traditional financial systems and traditional industries with converging now with blockchain. So blockchain is entering into that. And on top of that, you have like a double whammy with AI being a layer that goes on top of everything. So we're excited about AI and Web3 technologies being built on AI. We're actually launching a decentralized AI accelerator in Q1 next year out of the block, where the whole goal is actually to support startups that are building interesting products, not just in the UE, but globally. We're having some interesting talks with AI companies out of San Francisco and building a bridge between the UAE and other countries. So super excited to be here and hear more about what you guys have to discuss and say, and hopefully share a few things from my end as well.
Thank you, Danosh, and thank you, everyone, actually. So I'm going to dive back into the first question that I asked, and between the AI and Web3, the fact that they are intersecting faster than ever. How do you guys see the AI agents evolving within the decentralized ecosystems? And mainly, what is the real utility that they are bringing in to the Web3 world? Who would like to go first?
I can.
If not, I'll just go. Okay, perfect. Wonderful. Thank you, Vanda.
Okay, so my point of view is that AI agents will not only play a role in Web3, but in the overall digital sphere. We shouldn't separate, I think, Web2 and Web3. It doesn't make sense. An AI agent is a system that can think, plan, and act on its own to solve multiple step problems. So Web3 is about decentralization, but every system still runs on physical infrastructures, so powered by Web2 software. So we should simply see Web3 as an additional layer. I mean, it's really my point of view. I believe decentralization and AI have both advanced significantly in recent years and have become major trends, with companies trying to not fall behind their competitors. So the reality is that AI agents will greatly increase efficiency. Instead of having 5 employees performing repetitively tasks with potential mistakes, automation and also AI agent will handle them all. So the key is to coordinate this AI agents and maintain a complete overview of their activity within the company operation.
You're muted, Asbeth. Asbeth, you're muted.
Thank you, Danosh. So what I was just saying, Vanda, that's very interesting. And what I want to hear as well from one of you guys, what do you think about what Vanda said? And if there's anything you'd like to add as well.
Sure. So here, one thing which is emerging, and like that has been the basic premise of Web3 and blockchain. If we look at the kind of decentralization and the promise that has been there, that one establishing around identity and bringing that trust and having that incentive, I think all of these things which Web3 inherently, these are the pillars. Now with AI, and especially with agentic AI and agents both coming in the play, I believe this actually is going to help us realize this promise of Web3. Yeah, and I'll just take 30 seconds. How? Biggest challenge in AI today that we are looking at is everybody has run out of public data. The real AI is now started to be built, and that requires proprietary data. Proprietary data, the very big challenge has been, fine, I know my data has value, but why should I bring my data in it? If I don't own the model, why should I give my data there? And that has been a challenge. And that is where now we are seeing emergence of federated learning and system where it's truly getting decentralized. And I will, as a data contributor, be able to get an incentive for my data, which we see, this is the convergence between AI and Web3. And with agents coming in, what we are going to see, it's emergence of what everybody has been talking about, digital workers, really, and wherein a lot of this economic value is going to get generated from these agents, wherein all I look at is the data that I had, which was lying idle, and I did not have the time and effort to actually get as a commercialize it. Now with agents, I'm free. If I have data, if I have really good data, I know I can generate a lot of economic value by this convergence. So that's.
Gaurav, I just want to ask you, so basically all these data that you're speaking about, and where do you see the agents going and where are the data coming from mainly as well?
So in our context, that we are working in life sciences and healthcare, what we are seeing, there are two broad chunks. So one is the data that is on the healthcare side of things, that is in hospitals, labs, and even patients. Yeah, and essentially all of this is patient data, which is you have custodians in form of diagnostic labs or hospitals and or the research institutions, so on. This data holds immense value because this is the data that is going to accelerate the discovery of next set of drugs, for which millions of people worldwide are waiting. That is one set. Second set of data is the data that is with the pharma companies or the biotech companies. This data is just like where they have run experiments. An interesting part, a very interesting part is like a lot of this data actually is about what we call as the failure data. Everybody publishes success that this worked. What never comes out is what didn't work. Yeah. And now we see that the incentive is going to be there that yes, now even with that, what did not work, if I put it here, I am going to actually get paid for it. So these are the two broad data sets.
Got you. Thank you, Gaurav. Actually, that's pretty interesting. We might come back to that as well. Jimmy, I want to ask you, as someone who's building infrastructure solutions, how are GPUs redefining the scalability and performance of decentralized AI networks? Are we close to a point where decentralized GPU grids can rival cloud providers in efficiency?
Yeah. So as what was mentioned before, definitely agree with Gaurav here. Is that hyperscalers have been benefiting off of the data rails. We've become a product ourselves, and they actually, with time, their biggest asset was collecting this data, punching it, and offering it to other businesses so they can leverage it to position themselves, mostly on the marketing and sales side of things. Now, what's happening now is the natural progression of us users in the past that now understand that this has value, and that decentralizing it and democratizing the access to it through clear incentive programs for you to be offering this. A recent thing that happened, just a small thing before I deep dive into your question, is how Google limited the search results to 10 instead of 100. So what
Correct.
happened was most AI that is built off of learning from this public data was
Those
then
100.
cut by 90%, right? And other companies got hurt with it, like Reddit, which always comes between 11 and 13th on purpose, now is on another page and stuff. So a lot of
Absolutely.
this
That
is
changed a
becoming.
lot.
Yeah. A lot of this information that we're sharing now is becoming more and more, in the limelight now, and people are understanding the value of the data that they produce and how they can also benefit, from sharing it. Now, to your question, GPUs are at the foundation of this new economy, right? And they're what transform basically algorithms into cognition. And today, they've become like the new oil, right? And in a lot of cases, it's easier to get a tank of oil than it is to find the GPU, especially with all of these G2G, the involvement. And now it was always that, we were exposed to GPUs for gaming. We would always wait for the new graphic card to come and to install it in a PC and to play. And now it's like governments are seeing the value of these supercomputers, and they're sanctioning and playing this
It's a huge
political game
political
around it.
power as well.
100%, which all boils down to how much value compute has and will have more and more as we progress in the future. So uh, the challenge isn't performance only; it's also access, it's also control, it's ownership. So again, hyperscalers are always the middleman between the data, the production of it, as well as the transfer of it, and they in some way have access. And in our regards, this is why we're really pushing on the sovereign AI computing narrative, which basically gives a government or a semi-government company full ownership of the data, of the machines that are running that data, the software as well as the hardware, the storage and the power, from A to Z. This is the only way for you to actually have a sovereign environment. And government central banks, for these entities, it's crucial. And in centralized AI systems, compute is concentrated in a hyperscale cloud, as we said. This creates dependency on them, opacity onto what's happening and how this is being shared or resold, geopolitical risks, for security. So it's all about who controls the compute, right? And these decentralized grids that we're seeing now really flip the narrative here entirely. And this is the solution, because instead of massive data centers owned by one entity, right? And we're talking about global distribution here, hundreds of gigawatts worth of power that is only localized is very dangerous. They're individually owned, and economically they're benefiting the most. So the real innovation here would be to making compute completely sovereign by mapping these GPUs, implementing a blockchain infrastructure to it, and each node becomes their verifiable contributor into that network. And that's how we're really decentralizing data computing. And at IOPN, this is what we're focusing on with the Atlas project, which is the Advanced Tokenized Liquid Cooled AI Stack. Which what we're aiming with that is to create these sovereign AI computing environments and offering them to governments and semi-governments to benefit from them, to secure the data that they're producing, but also knowing that it's going to the right people.
Right. Thank you, Jimmy. Anybody would like to add on what Jimmy said over here? Because I think, Jimmy, basically where you dived as well with the new Google announcement as well, where they just limited to 10 pages only, a lot. And they have so much control, and that goes to what Gaurav was saying as well with the data that they have. So now it's a way more different game. So it's pretty interesting where we're going. Vandad, I want to ask you, LinkUp has worked on enabling blockchain-driven data transparency. How do you see blockchain enhancing the traceability side and also provenance of AI models and data pipelines? And why does it matter for AI ethics and trust?
Yes, so just before to reply to your question, I just want to add something regarding what Jimmy just said. That, of course, I realize the level of that simple response, it's really summarized, and the purpose of the Web3, of course. And AI based on Web3 must bring that layer of trust and transparency. And Gaurav is completely right when he's calling them digital workers. And the key point is that without regulation and rules, no initiatives make sense. So as long as these regulations don't hinder the advancement of technology and the integration of AI into the blockchain. So regarding what we are doing in LinkUp, the first thing that I want to say is that the main purpose of using blockchain is transparency. So transparency is operation in data management and transactions. I used to work for a top company called, maybe some of you should know, in Dubai, called Serenity Shields, whose mission was to protect data through advanced protocol and secure storage using biometrics. Now we are talking even not about gigawatts, but we are talking about zettabytes that we are dealing with. So that expertise gave me deeper understanding of how crucial is to build strong foundations, meaning enhance every form of proof of informations, any proof of operations. This ensures users, whether they are customers or they are professional or partners, can genuinely be part of this journey. So it's actually quite funny that you mentioned the word provenance, because at LinkUp, our core mission is to be like, let's say, the light in the dark corners, especially in industry where traceability and provenance control are essential, such as mining, food production, and natural resource extractions. So we use blockchain as a trust layer, yes, if I can tell that, a trust layer to make this information immutable and verifiable, which is the first request of our client that we are dealing and authorities that we are dealing with actually. So ethic and trust are meaningful concepts, but only if they are applied in the right way. If not, that has no sense. So ethics must guide how AI agents are built and regulated across industries. and
Where do
trust.
you see our regulation and ethics side of things, Vandad?
So, I mean, when you're building AI agents, you have to build it based on rules. If anyone could build any kind of AI agents without the respect of the data, for example, that just Jimmy mentions just before, thousands of giga of zettabytes of data that you're using in your protocol, it has no sense. But the only point is that, in my point of view, is that regulation should not be, I mean, the rules and regulations should not be a brake for this evolution. So regulate across industry and trust is the natural result. If an AI agent operates within the right data and traceability standards to produce its results, then customers will trust both the company and trust the technology behind it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vanda. That was a very good dive in. I mean, I'm pretty interested as well. Later on, we can have this conversation. I'm going to jump to Gaurav. You've built AI systems integrating structured data and automation. What's your take on the tokenizing AI models? And could it unlock a new revenue ownership model for developers, or will it complicate IP rights and governance?
Uh, as with anything coming in, there will there will be some back and forth with regulations, but eventually I see this is going to uh, unlock a huge value, because what this is enabling is, we have been talking about tokenizing real world assets and so on. Here it's going to help really create a different kind of an asset altogether, which is AI model. Yeah. Imagine and in fact, like, I'll take a step back, like how spoke about, data being converted into an asset. Yeah. And this is where, when data converts into an asset, the modality is actually the AI model. And this AI model is becoming an asset where, by tokenization, everybody is, theoretically at least, it's available that you can own a piece of that asset. And that is going to become possible. And that is where I see that it's, it creates a altogether different asset class, which we know for sure is going to grow tremendously, is going to again generate a lot of returns. Uh, it will, it will, we are going to see a transformation of like models from more like what used to be, or what is today, like a static IP. This will transform into a more a living and in itself a digital economy, where the ownership is shared, like developers. Currently, everything is, again, with the traditional way, wherein yes, there is an entity, there is a company only which owns it. The developers don't get to own a piece of it. And here now it will
Correct.
be possible
Correct.
where ownership can be defined, the returns can be defined very well by way of tokens, that developers, data contributors, and even validators. I mean, nobody has been talking about validators, and very few people actually speak about it. The huge value that validators or these data annotators are bringing in. Actually, all of this AI that we see today is possible. It's because of these human experts who have painstakingly, put in millions of hours in validating those models and putting, entering the data and so on. But they are somehow left out, of the gains, the economic gains from the AI models. I think with tokenization, it's going to give everybody a fair chance. Developers, data contributors, validators, everybody will have a piece of it. And pricing wise also, I think it will, again, what always we have spoken about, that everything should be pay per use. And here I see it happening, that with tokenization, again, it will be possible to have the returns the incentive mechanism work in a very much way that it is tied to the usage, right? That everything is transparent. I know uh, how much I should get paid because I know the model is being used by these many people, these many times, or
Correct.
these many tokens that are being. So that also becomes a lot easier, autonomous, and transparent. And ultimately, I think this is going to be a huge a push for really having these open model marketplaces. I mean, right now we know we are still by and large looking at these huge wall garden approach of Play Store and App Store and so on. But I really hope and I wish that with this with tokenization coming in and with this there is a real chance that we are going to see open model marketplaces. So that's where I see.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gaurav. I'm gonna ask the same question, Danush. I would love you to add more about your insights. Also, I know that the block is involved a lot in the whole tokenization process and also the whole RWA side of things. And as a CEO of the block, you are deeply connected, like with how communities, ecosystems form around the infrastructure. How can Web3 native incentives like GPU tokenization or compute-backed rewards accelerate the development of decentralized AI networks?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Aspen. Look, let's break it down a little bit first. So traditionally, GPUs and all these server farms used to belong to one owner. There used to be one person owning these places, and getting an investment opportunity into these locations or into these kind of businesses required either a technical understanding of the business or a lot of capital, and in many cases, a combination of both. Access to land, access to the right government contacts, a lot of the things that the everyday person simply cannot access, right? So what tokenization does essentially is, and for those who don't understand what tokenization is when you take an asset and you create tokens out of it, and those tokens represent a reference value in the underlying asset. So let's say if it's a server farm or a GPU farm, if you have 1,000 GPUs, you could technically have 1,000 or 1,000,000 tokens that represents those assets in a fractional way. And then every owner is a partial owner of those tokens. So what that enables and what decentralization essentially does, it removes that centralized layer. And it enables everyone in that network to be a partial owner and have a stake in this project. So now think of if, let's say, Jimmy and IOPN, they want to build out their community around the IOPN products and services that they have. Now, what they're doing is they're launching their tokens, and that way they're, first of all, engaging with their target audience before they are even becoming customers. And in the traditional Web2 world, it was the seller and there was the customer. But in the Web3 world, the users of that network are actually also owners of the product or the revenues or the data, depending on how you structure it. So to your question, how companies can benefit from tokenization and rally communities around these products? Well, it's very simple. By tokenizing assets, one, it enables you to fundraise perhaps quicker than you would otherwise do because you can access more capital, you can access more people. And two, you can start engaging with this audience in a different way and create different incentives by having them as part, in a way, shareholders, quote unquote, in your ecosystem. And as you grow, they grow, and they become even more loyal customers. So it kind of creates that positive flywheel. So yeah, in a nutshell, I recommend tokenization to everyone. And that is why we're doing that heavily at the block and helping companies to do that as well.
Guys, I'm just like, I would like to have your opinion from this as well. What do you think is going to be the key word? Like there was the NFTs at one point, there was the metaverse. What do you think is going to be 2025?
So
Or
what I
2026? I mean, 2025, we're finishing already.
yeah, we're almost done. But what I'm seeing is if 2021, 2022 was NFTs, 2023 was meme coins, and then 2024 was AI that came really, really strong, and AI agents, even so in 2025. But I would say since H2 in 2025, there's been a lot of attention towards tokenization of real world assets. And I believe this is going to continue into the next year. And the reason why I believe that is we see a lot of government traction, a lot of regulatory changes, positive changes moving in the right direction, and a lot of big actors, announcing tokenization of assets. Nasdaq recently announced they want to tokenize all the securities and equities. Japan has announced they want to tokenize trillions of dollars of assets. So we are seeing this big shift in convergence between the traditional financial world and the Web3 world. And I would argue to say that this is one of the best use cases of blockchain that we have seen to date. And it converges quite well with AI, because we were talking about this earlier, where you have AI agents operating. Well, in a few years' time, you will have some of these AI agents operating very, very independently once we reach AGI. And in order for them to be able to do that in an efficient way, they need a financial system that can support them. And the traditional financial system was not built for the world of AI. But blockchain is that infrastructure and is that backbone for AI. So yeah, I
That is
think
true. That
everything
is
is
true.
just happening at the right time and converging in an
That is
interesting
true.
way.
Again, same like
Yeah, just
Gola,
just
went at the right wave with the right time. Yes, tell me, Jimmy.
Yeah, just to add to what Danush said, spot on here. I believe definitely in each jurisdiction there is one or two, or even in some countries, a handful of big players that are trying to, cross that hurdle of being compliant, making sure that everything is very smooth between the issuance of the security token, and because there's a lot of the traditional aspect to it. The idea, and I believe and I hope, and of course, together with platforms like the block, where we're trying to reach a place where there's even globalization to this. We want investors that are based in Japan that have never been in Dubai to be able to
Absolutely.
get access to a yield bearing, safe asset through tokenization here, right? This is the aim, is that now regulations are wrapping their heads around it, creating the systems and proving concepts that this is safe and secure. And then you have things like the traditional, ratings like S&P and stuff to actually start seeing value also in a tokenized, real estate asset. And it's going to keep growing in that regards, getting legitimized by the traditional industry, but also the regulations and the tech being able to support a global outreach of this. Because the idea is you're mixing a $400 trillion industry with a $4 trillion industry, right? Completely across each other. You're democratizing access to real estate. People used to wait their whole lives to buy their house, the house they live in. Not let alone, we're here in Dubai, so it's high cost of living. We're all, doing business, and it's very common to us to hear, okay, apartments flying left and right. But in most people around the globe wait their whole lives to get access to real estate. They take on loans and they have mortgages, and it's tough. So now giving the average Joe the chance to engage with this industry through blockchain is a big one, right? You're widening the neck now of people that can have access. And as Danish was saying, very true, you can start marketing the product even before it breaks ground. You can start engaging with communities, showing them what, potentially they can dream of to aim to get, and also to start benefiting from. On parallel as well, the traditional investor, the investor that can actually afford the whole thing, can now diversify more, and they can, build a more prominent portfolio that is not too related to one jurisdiction or one area of the world. So yeah,
Absolutely,
definitely,
Jimmy.
I would feel a globalization of this, initiative towards RWA tokenization is what's going to come in the next years.
So true, very valid points. And also JP Morgan, like, they announced as well, they're continuing to pushing with the digital asset and the tokenization infra within their platform. There's so many things coming up. Vandad and Gaurav, just quickly, what do you think is going to be for next year,
So
the main keyword, let's say?
So definitely, I think that the gentlemen are right. Real world asset is going to be something very important in our ecosystem. Definitely. Only in Dubai, in Emirates, we are talking about by the end of 2030 about $50 billion. So you just have to figure out how big this market can be. And of course, this growth is underpinned by several factors. So government initiatives, so policies such as Golden Visa, technology advancements, the adoption of blockchain and AI technology has enhanced transparency, efficiency, and security in real estate transactions. And in this context, I think it will also be a transformative approach by converting physical assets into digital tokens on a blockchain. So this process enables
Absolutely.
fractional ownerships, they said, enhanced liquidity. He gave I don't know if it was Jimmy or Danush that gave this very good example about this guy in Japan that wants, for example, to tokenize his apartment or something. But tokenization or the real estate will also enhance liquidity. Tokenized assets can be traded more easily, improving market fluidity. So increase
Absolutely.
transparency, blockchain, immutable ledger, ensure clear and verifiable ownership records. So yes, developers and builders play a crucial role in this transformation by creating platforms, marketplace, and infrastructures that support tokenized assets. So their efforts combined with AI capabilities and risk assessment, valuation, and automation. So yes, definitely, I think RWA is going to be huge in the following years.
Vandad, I just want to add as well, like, I mean, since when we think about AI on chain, privacy is a major hurdle, right? So how do technologies like federated learning and zero knowledge proof fit into this equation to secure, but yet at the same time, a transparent AI?
So as I said before, I think that everything should be built on strong foundation regarding the value of what you're using. It has no sense to build AI agents where you still trade the data of people that using this protocol. And Web3 must bring this layer and trust and transparency. So summarize in one line, it's quite challenging, for example, but the future will be, I think, with the help of the GPUs and their parallel computing power, envision a future where within seconds, any type of information can be verified through AI agent pipelines, empowered by blockchain, and enhanced by GPUs and CPU computation. So I think everything should go on these directions.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vanda. That's actually pretty interesting as well. Here in the UAE, we're seeing a lot of advancements. I mean, with the stuff that we spoke about from the central bank to a lot of governmental agencies, they're involving a lot and AI comes in. I mean, as most of, I'm sure all of you know over here, but for the audience as well, in the UAE, we have an AI minister. It's like with artificial intelligence, it is number one. Let me just actually move as well. And Gaurav, what's the biggest barrier for AI startups in adopting decentralized commutes? I mean, is it cost, is it infrastructure maturity, or developer accessibility, let's say?
So definitely not the cost, and not even the infra. I'll say it's more friction, uh, where it's so an interplay of all these factors. So like if we look at infrastructure maturity, uh, yes, we'll say that maybe at a performance level, maturity it isn't isn't cloud class yet. When we look at, can I compare it really with an AWS or GCP? Yeah, it's not there yet. Uh, performance guarantees over a period of time, and wherein we need for any serious training workloads. They're not there yet, but I still see that that's something which is which is improving literally every day. More it is in the developer on the developer side. Uh, is the know-how. Like if we look at an AI developer, the AI developer will also need to have the Web3 know-how, the crypto know-how, right? And somehow where we see now, of course, everything is market driven. Who is getting paid more, then everybody, of course, is preferring to, if there is a competition between AI and Web3 right now, yeah, if you say AI engineer, you are getting paid more, right? So that is where I see that the developers are not very keen to
I see your
go on
point.
that path. Yeah, and the tooling also, we like in AI, if we see, it has reached that maturity where almost all the tooling that has evolved in last 5 years, it has become